Hi, I'm Crystal, and the person I decided to interview for my final project is the executive pastry chef at the American Club at Kohler, located in Kohler, Wisconsin. She's actually my boss, and her name is Molly Glacken. And I just felt that she was a person most appropriate for this interview because she is very good at what she does. She's very responsible. She's a very respectable chef, and she is so knowledgeable in baking and pastry, and she is just a great leader, and I felt that she was the most appropriate for this project. She is a great example of a food service leader. Chef Molly has been in the industry for 14 years, but she has worked at the American Club at Kohler for 9 months. Although you would not be able to tell that she has been working at the American Club for 9 months because she knows everything. She knows what she's doing, and she's so good at what she does, and she's always helping people out, and she's always working in the kitchen and trying to get things done. The first question I decided to ask her was how she helps her employees when there is conflict between one another, or when there is something going on between two employees. And she let me know that she lets the employees resolve these conflicts amongst themselves, but if that does not work, then she talks to them separately and then brings them together so that they can talk about it with one another, with herself present. And she says that that usually breaks down any barrier. What I also decided to ask her was how she feels that there can be good communication between herself and her employees, and what kinds of things she does to bring good communication to the kitchen. And she says that for good communication, she usually catches up with her employees on a daily basis, and just anything ranging from upcoming events to what she missed, and just expectations that she has, or just clued in on things that she might not always see, or something that she may have missed on a day that she was not present. She feels that she's very open with her employees and that she leads by example. She has the open door policy in which she lets her employees know that her door is always open, and she is always there to listen and support them and encourage them and answer any questions in which she feels that employees may have, and that she is always there to help whenever there is help needed. What she feels that motivates her employees is just depending on the type of person that they are. She says that some employees are motivated by just a simple cup of coffee in the morning, and others are motivated with a simple thank you. It really just depends on the type of person and their personality, and just finding out a little bit more about them throughout the days, and just finding out what specifically motivates that person to help them along the way. What I also decided to ask her was, I know that there's a lot of decision making, especially working at a resort, and there can be lots of pros and cons. So what does she ultimately do to make decisions? And she says that she feels that she always makes the best decisions. She decides to take into consideration how it will affect the team, but she needs to remember that they are here for the guests. This is a 5-star resort, and the guests are the number one priority. And she feels that she always makes the best decisions for the guests. And even though there might be a lot of pros and cons and it might be stressful, she ultimately comes up with the best decision. She looks for exciting, passionate, and respectable employees when it comes to just being in the kitchen and learning. She says that you will not find somebody seeking you for employment. You need to go out and find somebody and be passionate about what you do. You need to show her that you want to learn and that you are absorbing what she is showing you. She is willing to take in, interns of all different types of backgrounds, but they need to show her that they are here to learn and that they want to be there every day, and that they are in fact absorbing what she is showing them. I asked her what she ultimately does to, kind of not be as stressful, and what are the stresses of working at a resort. And she tells me that working at a resort is a juggling act, but she does her best every day to take it step by step at a time, so it is not so overwhelming. Ultimately, it will all come one day, and it will be very it is very stressful from one point to another, and sometimes there are points when she feels like she wants to, just pull her hair out because it's so stressful, but she takes a deep breath and she, takes it day by day and, a little bit by bit so that it isn't as stressful. She's always made her career a priority, so she feels that she does not have any regrets. But she does feel that she would want to go back and get more fine dining experience because, well, we are working at a 5-star resort, so she could have a little bit more experience. But she feels that one never stops growing and learning as a food service leader, and that you are always taking in new things, and you never really stop growing as a person and as a pastry chef because you are always learning new things. The biggest challenge she feels is being able to execute up to your standards with a small staff in such a large operation. The American Club is very big. There are lots of inns and restaurants and pastry shops, and the place is huge, so I can understand how she can say that it is very stressful sometimes because there are times when there are pop-up orders or when something needs to be done at a certain time and there's still so much other things to be done, and suddenly an order just comes up out of nowhere, and you need to have things done at a certain time, and sometimes there might not always be the same amount of people that there were yesterday, or there might even be fewer people, or somebody that was supposed to show up suddenly cannot be there. But she feels that the greatest joys are being able to see happy guests and seeing her team grow together and get closer and have good communication amongst themselves and just learning new things along the way. She feels that it isn't hard to find employees and interns. They are always looking. They have no lack of interest when searching for employees. It's just more finding the caliber of standards for the resort. It is a 5-star resort. They are always looking for new motivated employees, and they're always open to have people come in and interview and let them know that they also want to be there. She feels that she has changed her management back then versus now. She has worked for lots of different chefs, so she has taken the good and learned from the bad as well. But she also feels that now she is more patient than she used to be. The biggest challenge she finds when it comes to managing her staff is balancing personal life and professional. She needs to keep it fair, and she always needs to put the business first. Yet some people might not always understand that. But she feels that she has grown as a person and an owner by knowing what the people want and expect and what's important to the customer and how to deal with people in general. Chef Molly, I feel, is such a good example of a food service leader. She knows just what she is doing and she is not afraid to ask for help, and yet she has such a warm personality, and yet she's very respectable. I feel that she is so knowledgeable, and she always has new ideas on pastries, but she's always willing to take ideas and suggestions from other people, and therefore I feel like she is a really good food service leader, and I personally enjoyed having her as a pastry chef, which is why I asked her if I could interview her, because I felt that she was appropriate for this interview. Thank you.